All right, we're looking for another Bitcoin trade opportunity. If you go through my videos, you'll see the last one I posted. In fact, we can open that up. I was looking for the pullback and then buy on the breakup structure. So we got exactly that. There's the pullback and there's the breakout. Really nice outcome. If you're in this trade, definitely, I'd probably close it. We're up around nearly, well, at the moment, depending on your stop loss, of course. Nearly 3 hour. That's quite nice. But I really think this is going to pull back. So how I approach this is I use VWAP and a volume profile and these trend lines. So if we grab a anchored VWAP, throw it in here. Well, I've done that. Sorry. Volume profile, anchored VWAP. My bad. I placed a volume profile on the chart. Now we're going to grab an anchored VWAP. Just pull it from recent lows and just get a little bit of a sense of volume weighted average price. I like to create a bit of a cluster, and there's no harm in throwing one on the previous high, and then you get this VWAP cluster. I'll take that out because that's done and dusted, and I'm using these lines as well. Okay, so we had a breakup structure there. We had this bullish trend break, bullish breakup structure. So at the moment, I'm looking for this to turn around, and we can just grab we've got the low, and if we mark up this touch here, that's currently trending, and we got let's have a look. Let me just reduce the thickness of these for a little bit, and I'm just going to plan out a trade. Basically, I'm always looking to map out the chart with these tools and just drop that back and plan my next move, basically. So just do that. So we've got this move here. Now, your Fibonacci guys, Fib retrace, low to high. All right. I like the idea of a possible pullback down into these levels, 50 to 61.8, equilibrium. Okay. So that's one thing. The other thing is if we grab the anchored fixed range volume profile, I'm just going to go from here to here. I just want to get a bit of a sense of, where most of the business is being done, and it's just easy to map it out on this volume profile. So we've got this breakout of this value range here, gone into price discovery, and now we're moving into another value area. But we do have this fair value gap through here. All right, so that's, fair value there, fair value, and a fair value gap, right? That's how I basically determine, where there's a gap, where there's a fair value gap. And price will tend to move back through a gap like this, looking to rebalance. So we've got a move out of this value area. It's starting to pull back. And if we grab that fib retrace, this gap in here, okay, aligns with the 50%. Have a look at this volume profile. Well, the high of this volume profile here, the high value node, value area high, the dotted blue line, also coincides with the 50 to 61.8. So there's, a few things. There's a confluence around this area that could be a magnet for this to pull back. Now, if price pulls back, we get a decent retrace, I'm going to be looking for much the same thing. So let's just say we break structure and we trade back down. I'd be looking for something like that. Let me just draw that a bit differently. 30-minute chart. Okay. So I really want to see it trade back down into this area. And the main thing is I want to see it hold above this value area. Maybe it dips under, and then we get something like that, possibly, right? Maybe it does a bit of a fakey shaky, a fake out, shake out kind of thing. But what I would like to see is on this pullback that it doesn't break into this value area. It holds above. That would be important for me. And then on that pullback, I would be looking for a structural break to get long. However this plays out, it could be here, it could be lower, who knows, right? But that's where I would be looking to get, and we come back and retest this. Breaks out, probably pull that. Well, okay, throw it through there. Let's just do something like that. It may pull back here. It could pull back a lot deeper. Who knows? But let's just wait and see. So that's, I mean, pretty much what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for this to pull back and rotate and give me an opportunity to get long, given that this is now trending up. So we have clearly here, we have a trend, and okay, it's pretty steep. Now, here's another thing that might be of interest. This move here occurred, let's have a look. I can't see my chart. I can't see exactly. It was the end of the New York session, I think. So we had this rally at the end of the New York session. And I look at this from the point of view that these guys got short. There's a head and shoulders. Okay, here's a concept. Okay, everybody is drawing the head and shoulders. Where are we? Okay, shoulder, head, right shoulder. Okay, so there's a ton of retail traders shorting this. And what happens is this starts to trade against, they freak out and they wind up their short positions. So what you get through this move here especially is it's not institutional money, in my opinion. On the back of a bearish head and shoulders and a lot of retail traders shorting, okay, this is short covering. So they wind up their shorts, they close out and stop losses get taken out, whatever. And then this rallies on the back of mainly smaller players, retail, etc., short covering, right? They got caught. So this pushes up on really thin liquidity on the back of that. At the end of a New York session, the end of the day, this is called, I would call it the the New York end of New York session spike. If you get a spike at the end of the New York session, a spike with thin liquidity, and this is usually spotted if you, let me just clear that. If you grab a volume profile and you pull it up here, it's just a concept to think about. Okay, let's just grab a volume profile, say from where the move started, so back here to here, and have a look at this volume profile. Just look at the shape of it. It's in the shape of a P, and down here we've got very thin volume. Okay, so we've got now this top heavy P-shaped volume profile, extremely thin liquidity, and generally speaking, you'll see that pull back through here looking to rebalance. All right, look for the P-shaped volume profile where there's really thin liquidity here, and then you get this top heavy setup. And the opposite would occur, at the end of the New York session. This is a trade that you can look for. It's a counter trend trade that you can look for. So you could have got short if you go down to a lower time frame when this starts to make a move back. All right. So just watch this in case we see further downside here. Now we've got a lower high. So I would like to see a lower low, lower high form, and then that's another opportunity to short if you want to counter trend trade it. So you got high, low, lower high. If you get that right, and it comes back in to retest this. So that's a potential short. And then, if it trades down, as I said before, I'm going to be looking for, wherever it sets up, right? Look for the, something like that. I'm going to look for this to rotate. Anyway, look, that's a bit of an idea. Short there. And when it pulls back, just wherever it rotates, guys. And just keep an eye on the volume profile. See this value area through here. You can see it on the volume profile. And you've got, this, the blue line, which is the volume profile value area high, value area low, value area high here. Okay. Just disregarding the one above. Okay. I'm just looking at this section through under here. Anyway, that's a bit of food for thought. Well, yeah, you can see it moves into that. Okay, so look, that's what I'm looking for with Bitcoin at the moment. Just be careful. You just got to wait for this to trend. Like if it trends down, maybe it even runs a bit steeper, and then just look for that look for that break of structure. Wherever it's at, it may be here, it may or may not be, it might be lower, who knows, right? But just get that rotation. The rotation, what am I doing? I'm just trying to find, yeah, here we go. Just got a message coming in. All right, so just look for that pullback and break of structure. Okay, that's Bitcoin. With that, have a great day and see you in the next one.